My crew has just returned from 76 days at sea. There must be a dozen boats better rested.
Squadron command is insisting on the most experienced captain and crew available.
Captain, these are technicians from the Special Projects Institute.
They're testing some kind of prototype equipment.
We'll try to stay out of your way.
Good luck with that.
Phantom co-host. I didn't even heard this movie until
nobody did.
Yesterday?
Yeah, nobody did. Until we figured out it was another movie we had to review.
Yeah, you guys mentioned you got to go see this movie, Phantom, and I didn't look it up. I went in here expecting to see some ghosts. Especially, I heard Dave Duchovny was in here. He's from the X-Files. I'm like, man.
Well, it's funny because Ben Affleck heard the same thing, and we didn't get none of that.
Well, I walk in here and I see people. I see crazy shit. I walk in here and I see Americans wearing Russian uniforms, getting into a submarine, and
yeah, I know,
going down talking about the Cold War and starting some shit with America. I was like, okay, so where the ghost at?
Yeah, not there.
Ain't no ghost
not today.
Here.
No. All I wondered was like, why in the hell did all these Americans defect and join the Russian naval force? And how come nobody ever told me about this? You know?
I'll tell you what the ghosts were. They were in the theater because I went there tonight.
Yeah,
there was one guy.
Oh yeah,
it was me and one guy watching this movie.
Really, I had about 2 people in the theater I was in, and somebody brought actual covers, like they were going to bed, like they brought bed sheets and everything. And I looked around and I was like, why does it look like there's a homeless person like right down the road from me? And this person was all covered up, all bundled up. I'm like, how long is this fucking movie?
Are you sure it wasn't a homeless person? They sneaked into the exit or something?
I hope to God.
You know why they brought in that sheet? Mm-hmm. You know why they were going to bed? Because this movie was boring. Somebody heard that it was going to put them to sleep.
Well, you know what? I can give you that, at least for the first 20 minutes of it.
Yeah. Man, when you go into a movie and there's nobody else, I'm going to get into the movie in a little bit, but if there's you and one other person, don't you feel like you want to bond with that person? Like you want to go up and ask them, what's your backstory for being here?
No.
I don't. Okay, man, that's just me.
It's bad enough, I'm going to have to sit through a bad movie. It's another thing when there's a good chance I might have to sit through a bad story.
Yeah, okay. Because I always wanted to go and be like, hey, the reason why I'm here is because of this. Why are you here? Yeah. Of course, they'd be like, sir, you get the fuck away from me. I don't want to hear your story.
It's like, look, I got to watch this shit and listen to it. I don't have time for you, pal.
I know. I'm sitting next to the guy in the dark. So, why are you here? I'm here to watch the goddamn movie and not talk to you.
I'm a movie reviewer and I don't even want to be here.
All right, if I was in the theater, you in? Why, sir, I'm going to go to sleep. Will you quit, you quit disturbing me?
Hey, keep it down. You're thinking too hard over there.
Trying to get some shut-eye.
Quiet, you.
I tell you, man. Okay, so I walk in. I don't know what this is about. I'm having to piece everything together as I watch it. So I come back and I read about it. So you have Ed Harris. Where's that guy been?
I know, right?
Yeah. Anyway, Ed Harris.
He is the Phantom. In this there's your answer for it.
Yeah, there you are. He's a real Phantom. He hadn't been seen for a long time. Pops up for movies like this. So Ed Harris is the captain of a ballistic missile submarine during the Cold War in Russia. Now, you walk in, and what's that dude's name? William Fichtner? Yeah, he plays the second in command, up and coming. That guy's got a great military career in Russia. Yeah. So then Dave Duchovny comes in. He's some guy that works for a very covert section of the KGB. They don't know why he's there, but as he's on the ship, you realize that as the story progresses, he's there for some very ominous reason. He wants to start a war with America,
right?
Based on this technology that he feels will help America get the edge over Mother Russia.
Mother Russia?
Yeah.
I'm a political officer in this boat, and as your friend, it's my duty to tell you that if you even imply treasonous intent of elite KGB officers without proper evidence or cause, you will be put up for charges of misconduct of the Code of Military Justice.
Sometimes a man has to pick a side, Greg.
Well, then you should pick wisely. Because if you're wrong, this will haunt you and your families for the rest of your lives.
Or should I say, Mother Russia? Because man, Americans, we have got to be some of the lazy actors. It gets to a point. Do you remember when we would have a movie where actors were playing a totally different nationality, but they would at least try to fake the accent?
Yeah, I mean, and it kind of takes me back to, I think the last movie to try to do that was, I want to say it was 13 Warriors, where at the beginning you heard them speak their native language, and then like once I guess when they're around the campfire, the camera starts swinging around, and I guess that movement somehow translated everyone into English.
Yeah. But you know something?
Yeah.
At least in that movie, they had actors who have accents.
Yeah.
I mean, when we have people who need to play another nationality, we don't give a fuck. We just cast all British people. Do you remember that movie? I forgot what it was, but it was about the Russians fighting the Germans during World War II.
Oh, yeah.
And they didn't try to cast any Russians. They didn't try to cast any Germans. Everybody spoke with an English accent.
Oh, yeah.
But in this movie, it's all Americans.
Oh,
we
no,
don't even
it is
try
all
to fake that
American.
shit.
Yeah. And I was trying to remember, like, I think I've only seen The Hunt for Red October once. And I remember I could partly remember because I actually fell asleep during it. But I was even wondering, like, did they try to speak Russian at first and then they switched it on over to English or what? But, I mean, the fact that they actually try, I mean, because that is really kind of confusing. I'm almost like, filmmakers, you have to do that because it's just strange enough, everyone speaking perfectly good English.
In a movie like this, because in a movie like this, I mean, they're talking, pure American. There's some people in there close to having a Southern drawl.
Oh, yeah. No, you hear Southern draws. You hear accents from Brooklyn.
Yeah. Hey, Captain.
Yeah.
Captain on board. And
Captain, what are we going to do today? What's going on here?
How far you want me to go, Captain? Hey.
Put the bada bing and the bada boom in here.
And then they keep saying, but then you have some people that come in with lines like, hey, who did that? Hey, it was the Americans. And it's like, I'm looking at the Americans. I'm confused.
Yeah, what's going on here?
I mean, just because you put on a big fuzzy hat doesn't make you Russian, all right? You got to at least fake that accent somehow.
You have to. Come on.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing.
Yeah, they should have been watching those Bullwinkle cartoons, Rocky and Bullwinkle cartoons, to at least try.
I don't even care if they got to do a bad Boris and Natasha accent. Do something, man.
We must destroy American subs piloted by Moose and Squirrel.
If they got to say Moose and Squirrel every line to make them do it, who did it, comrade? Moose and Squirrel and the Americans.
Moose and Squirrel are to blame.
I don't care if they come in, they sound African.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
Hey, comrade, how are you today?
Remind me that you're the enemy.
Yeah.
That's all.
No, Americans. No. But fake something, man.
Yeah.
But in this, that's one of the problems. But if the story is engaging enough, people will say, well, you can get past that. And I think that's my biggest problem with the movie is that during the first half, it is so technical, man. It is like being on board, on board a submarine, watching people go through the daily routine of
piloting a submarine.
Whatever their training is for that day. You're actually sitting there watching people push buttons, pull levers, twirl things around.
It's submarine 101 class, pretty much.
And talk submarine jargon.
Right. And you know what? The thing is, that's where the movie was like, okay, wow, something better happened. Because I don't have time for this. I mean, get me into the story already. I mean, we're already like 20, 30 minutes into it. Just like, come on. What am I here for? When are these ghosts going to appear? What's happening? But you know what? The thing is, the movie actually ended up winning me over as soon as it got into the thick of the plot, which is, David Duchovny's character, like what he was really there for, what this whole experiment was all about. So much so that
I don't think it was an experiment. I think it was.
Well,
hey, David Duchovny was real with his shit.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that once it worked, I mean, it did start to lay out an intriguing story that had me pretty much enthralled as soon as it got started.
Well, I think you're right. When David Duchovny comes in and he starts to commandeer the submarine, then that's when you start to get drawn in because they don't tell you right off the bat what's happening. If you go in cold like me, you don't know why he's there. Right. And you can kind of see what's happening, but you do want to see what is going on because not only does David Duchovny's character, David Duchovny plays one of the guys that works for the KGB, the shadowy part of the KGB, Bruni. He comes in and he starts to reveal more and more because they think he's there and they're like, oh, well, shit, if he's working for the KGB, we better respect him. But then they start saying, wait a minute, this asshole, the KGB, they wouldn't send, nobody would authorize what he's doing right here.
Yeah.
So you want to know what his secret is. But also Ed Harris's character, he is a decorated captain whose father, they say he's a father that pretty much wrote the book on submarine warfare. But you start to have these dark secrets that come out about him. And the movie does a good job at revealing that. I think that it just comes in at a moment where a lot of the movie bored me up until that point. This is an hour. This movie's an hour and 36 minutes. Yeah. And it seemed like they didn't get into that until about 35, 40 minutes after the movie was into itself.
Well, you know what? They were hinting that throughout the movie, which was strange enough because I was starting to have flashbacks of like, oh God, please don't let this be like Event Horizon.
So you really were expecting ghosts?
When you start to see that kind of imagery, I mean, you can't help but think about those films like that where it becomes a case of like cabin fever almost. But
I know what imagery you're talking about too, because Ed Harris has an affliction. I won't give it away here, but
right,
there's a lot of things happening with his head that causes him to see things, and you don't know if some of the things he's seeing are real or not.
Yeah. But you do learn later on, which I think actually that whole part of this of his what was going on with him actually helped the later part of the story. I thought they utilized it pretty good, as far as when, the bad guys started commandeering the vessel. But I mean, other than that, as far as just, getting into the characters, I thought that was the other strong suit with this movie, was that the characters are actually kind of engaging, especially when they're performing with each other. Because I mean, this is a very small cast of characters that really get to work with each other. Because I mean, they're in a submarine, so it's not like it's not like you're going to be introduced to a bunch of cast of characters. But the characters that they had here were, I thought they were pretty engaging in the fact that once shit was going down, it got you really involved, like who was fighting for which side, and especially the fact that it's like, wow, they're all Russian, yet some of them actually have I don't know, some dignity, as far as the idea of war.
Well, it was a hard decision because they had to figure out, okay, I'm really loyal to my captain. Mm-hmm. But fuck, man, it's the KGB. They'll come in and fuck my shit up if I'm not careful.
Or the other point of how loyal are you to your country? As far as like how far are you willing to go to follow orders? Or orders that you assumed or have been given. But I mean, that's where the movie won me. And it's one of those things where I was like you, I had no idea what to expect, and I read nothing but bad reviews for this. So I was a little surprised. Now I can see why some people want to give this movie kind of a hard time, because the actual dialogue, and it's pretty simple. Any dummy can follow it. Hell, if I can follow it. I mean, it's not like the best submarine movie you will ever see. It's not. It's like I'm sure
it's not Das Boot.
Yeah, it's not Das Boot. And I'm sure if I tried to compare this to The Hunt for Red October, I'd be laughed at. But I mean, the thing is, regardless of that, though, I mean, it was still engaging.
Yeah, I like that aspect you're talking about. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's cool to see. Okay, obviously Ed Harris. You like these kind of movies where you have a guy that has pretty much been disgraced, and this is his chance to prove himself. But how many people are going to actually be on his side once they figure out that this guy might not be who he's been touted to be all this time?
Right.
That is cool. That is cool, because it's a guy that you start to root for. This is his chance to redeem himself and do the right thing. I'm speaking of Ed Harris's character, but see, that was such a small part of the movie for me, because I get this big chunk of movie where, as I said, it's very technical. They're on the submarine doing submarine things.
Yeah.
Shit I don't care about. And then the ending, I thought the ending was terrible.
Oh no, the ending was the hokey pokey, and you turn yourself around.
You turn yourself around and get the hell on out of there.
Get the fuck out. No, that was, and I thought that ending completely. Just, I mean, I don't know. It didn't destroy the movie, but I mean, I was like, really? That's all? That's what you came up with? You couldn't do
that was
something
horrible.
A little bit more imaginative?
Yeah.
I mean, I see what they're trying to do, but you're right. It was pure cheese.
I could see what they were trying to do, but they could have handled it so much better. Look, they didn't even need to do that.
Yeah.
They didn't even need to do that. That was so bad. I want to tell the people so much what it is, but I'm not.
Right.
But if you see it, don't say we didn't tell you. Listen, man, this is the impression I got from this. I got the impression that this is the kind of movie that I should see in the red box window when I'm going to get my groceries, or when I'm walking out of Target or Walmart or whatever. And I should look at it and be one of those movies that I never rent. It should be one of those movies that I see in red box and I said, oh, Ed Harris was in a movie? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well,
or something you just find accidentally on Netflix.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I'm not going to watch it, but then I see it on TV one day, and I said, oh, that was that movie in Redbox. Okay, I can see why I was there. All right. Because you know what? 5 years from now, that's going to be the case, I'm going to see this movie. I'm not going to click it on Redbox. I mean, I'm sorry, on Netflix. I'm never going to rent it anywhere. It's going to be on TV somewhere. I'm going to look at it, and I'm going to stare at that screen for about 5 minutes, and I'm going to tell people in the room, I think I saw this.
Yeah, I know.
I can't really remember, but
I know. And
why do I want vodka right now?
I know, right? But the thing, I mean, I don't know. It is a movie that, I mean, I thought the material about, well, at least what it was about. I know it says it's inspired by true events, but I looked it up, and it is so goddamn loosely inspired by real events that, the looseness is like, it's sunk to the bottom of the ocean.
That shit is so loose the wind could blow that shit away.
Yeah, it can.
It's based on the sinking of a ballistic missile submarine, the K-129.
Yeah.
And this movie had nothing to do with that.
Oh, no.
What this movie is, when they say loosely based, it really means some shit we made up, because this is based on them finding this sub at the bottom of the ocean. Let's just say the scriptwriters heard about this, and they said, "Oh yeah, they found this missile this submarine on the bottom of the ocean. Apparently, there was a missile launch from this. What really happened? Yeah. No one knows. Let's just make up some shit and make a movie about it."
I could tell that whoever wrote this, they were obviously fans of Star Trek, because
in Star Wars, if you go by that ending.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, it like I said, it still had me interested. Even in I wanted to go and look up this technology if it was even an actual thing.
Well, that's why the movie's called Phantom, because the reason why David Duchovny is going so crazy and why he wants to start a war between America, and I won't tell you the whole plot, but he wants America to destroy itself, is because they have a technology that is, I guess it's the Phantom technology, where you can't be picked up on radar.
No, it cloaks you and it makes people think that you're something else, like a barge or something. So it doesn't alert them that you're an enemy.
So they feel like
ship.
America they have the edge over the Soviet Union. I think this is what we have right now.
No, that's what it was. I mean,
okay.
But I mean, just that alone, I'm like, that's kind of a cool little plot device, to get me involved.
Yeah, I don't think it was a bad movie. I don't think it was a bad movie at all. I like submarine movies, because in submarine movies, that is one place that you can create this feeling of claustrophobia.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I have not seen a submarine movie yet where I just haven't said, "Get me out! Breathe! Give me!" It was a good thing there was one guy in the theater. He just looked at me.
Well, what I didn't tell you is that person had their covers, and I had my SpongeBob inner tube. I was like, just in case the ship was going down.
It's not a bad movie at all. I just say it's forgettable, man. For me, and what it did right, I admired. The acting in here, I mean, you'd have about 4 people who are really giving great performances. Did you notice that Lance Henriksen was in this?
Oh, yeah. He was at the very beginning.
Yeah, we're talking about the robot from Aliens.
Yeah.
See, I can't I don't recognize that guy unless he's got milk coming out his stomach or the bottom of his waist or something.
Well, I think they were pumping milk into his nose. That device, that guy was on his last legs. He looked about as old as that ship that they gave those.
I know. I didn't recognize him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you didn't? Oh,
no, I didn't recognize him until the credits came up, and I said, "Well, which one is he?" And I said, "Well, there's only one person who's got to be in there."
He's definitely gotten older since I think the last thing I ever remember him being in was this really terrible Hellraiser movie that went straight to DVD.
But like somebody raised him from hell to be in this movie right here. Yeah, that's another thing about the casting. There's a lot of people in here. And when I say a lot of people, it's a lot of extras. You got about 4 or 5 people who give in main performances. The rest of the crew, interchangeable. You don't really recognize anybody. If you see somebody working in one part of the submarine and then you see somebody else, you say, "Wait a minute, I thought that guy was down there." Yeah. It's a totally different person. You can't.
I did love that one character though. That right from the beginning, that it's like, that motherfucker's gonna die.
Oh yeah.
He's a guy.
They always got one character that's always cowering.
I know. He's like,
"What?
I gotta go on a mission. Well, I'm just about to get married." And the captain's like, "Sure, go ahead, get married." And you're like, "Oh, isn't it great to be married? Oh, but I gotta go on this last mission.
Yeah.
I'll see you when I come back."
Yeah.
Oh, his ass ain't coming back.
Yeah. You better fuck that ass while you can.
I was like, man, why don't you just put that guy in a red shirt saying "my ass is dead" on the back of it?
Yeah. Yeah. I like the movie. I do. But not very much. That's the biggest thing I can say about it. It's very forgettable. I really won't remember anything. I say 5 years. I'm not going to remember anything next week about this. Yeah. But if you catch it somewhere, if you accidentally rent this on, if you're one of those people that just rents a whole bunch of movies from Redbox and just makes a night of it.
Yeah, that guy. That asshole.
If you're that guy.
The guy who's always in front of me that's like, dude, how many of these are you going to fucking rent? You know?
I know. You got 10 ones in your pocket.
There's a cart there. Use it. Learn how to use the cart. Don't rent them individually.
Yeah. You got 10 ones in your pocket. Your girlfriend or wife told you not to go to the strip club no more. You don't have to do with those ones. You're buying some movies at Redbox and you just happen to get this one just because, hey, Ed Harris is in it. You watch it. I don't think you'll be that disappointed. I think you'll be a little bored until everything picks up. So you can see where this is going. I'm giving this a rental.
Yeah. Like I said, the performances really, it was the one thing really not sinking this ship. And I mean, for me,
no pun intended, right?
No, I don't know how to do those.
Thank God you don't.
Those are on another ship that hopefully will sink someday. But but I mean, I did get really into it. I mean, and I won't lie, it was something I was expecting just for it to completely fail on.
Hey man, you know me, I ain't gonna talk shit about you if you like it. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, I'm glad I was liking it too, because this is one of the last movies I think came out in February. Like I mentioned on another review, like Rotten Tomato, it's been a rotten month for movies, and so this was kind of surprising. I was expecting another movie just to bore the shit out of me, and it really didn't. I mean, the first 20 minutes or so. Okay, but I was kind of interested. I was like, okay, this is how they work the submarine. Just a little reminder of how they do things around here in Mother Russia. But it was okay. And I mean, as far as David Duchovny, I was like, you know what? I have to give that guy some credit for almost not having hardly any dialogue in the movie at the beginning, but just his menacing glances. Just he's a guy that you look at and you just want to punch.
And he didn't ham it up either.
No, he did not. No, he didn't. He did not ham it up at all. But other than that, I did have fun with it. So I mean, I'm gonna give it a matinee.
You know what? I'm glad you did, because it's cool not knowing anything about a movie, and then you go see it and you actually enjoy it.
Yeah, well, it's even better when you just know that it's been panned across, just like crazy.
Yeah.
And and then you watch it and you're like, this is nowhere near as bad as a lot of critics are making it seem.
And especially if we got to
seen worse.
If we got to take our time and go see it on a Friday night and something that we think is going to be bad, it can be a pleasant surprise to walk in and see something and say, you know what, it's not as bad as I heard it was, or how bad it looked. Yeah. Anyway, I'm glad I'm at this movie, because this is no lie. I was watching the film and I saw them drinking vodka. I don't even like vodka, but we got a new place in town called Russian House. I want to go there so bad now. They have horseradish infused vodka.
Yeah.
I'm stopping this right now and I'm taking my ass over there because I want some badly right now.
Right. What is going on right now in this country? Everyone's turning red. I mean, they had that goddamn show, The Americans, on about Russians that we're supposed to root for. You got this movie where I actually found myself rooting for Russians. I'm like, and now they got a Russian bar over there. What the fuck?
And I'm rooting for their vodka and their horseradish. Hey, like they said in the movie, hey, comrade, won't you defect with me to the bar? Hey!
What is this shit?
We're starting the apocalypse.
We will emerge on the right side of history.
Drop your weapons.
Give me no recourse.
Recourse for what?
To take back my ship.
Engage the Phantom.